that as we continue talking. Separation of governance and politics. Fidelity of political, or separation of governance and politics. Fidelity of political parties, coalitions, and law on multi-party democracy. I continue? Yes. Preventing interference with political parties stroke coalitions. Recommendation. Enforce transparency and accountability measures for elected officials. Political parties requiring them to disclose their funding sources, expenditures, and activities to the public. Entrenching funds into the Constitution, the National Government Constituency Development Fund. We support the entrenchment of the National Government Constituency Development Fund, NGCDF, in the Constitution and recommend the following changes. And those in front of us, many are MPs. So we recommend here, please, that ensure women representation in the CDF, incorporating grassroots leaders such as Maendeleo Wanawake, right from the ward and other players, sub-counties or county chairs. Women in church, we have women in Mothers Union, very good leaders, women in the Catholic Women Association, the Women Guild, and even women in the mosque, our Muslim sisters. Retired teachers in their bursary committees. A practical example is Maendeleo chairs who sit in the county anti-corruption civilian oversight committees. We are in 40 counties and we do a lot of work. The fund should address social issues such as teenage pregnancies and vulnerable children such as orphans. I dare say, and here's mothers, that our girls, we are number 3 in the world for girls giving birth at 13 years, and that then leaves them to be grandmothers at 26 years. That none of you want to see in your homes, even from your children. So we are asking for a lot of listening into this. The National Government Affirmative Action Fund, we support the entrenchment of the National Government Affirmative Fund, GAF, in the Constitution and recommend the following change. Engagement of grassroots leaders, women community leaders in programs supported this fund. My sisters who are in the women leadership, we want to feel the impact of the numbers we have, so that then the journey Maendeleo has worked for 70 years starts to get some fruits. The fund to address very specific issues like drug and substance abuse, and also the teenage pregnancies we are talking about. It is not nice to hear we are number 3 in the world. That talks about the country we are starting to be. The Senate Oversight Fund, we support the entrenchment of the Senate Oversight Fund in the Constitution because the Senate plays a critical role in overseeing funds allocated to counties, just like we have supported the other one. A constitutionally established Senate Oversight Fund would ensure that Senate has the necessary resources to fulfill its duties and effectively. The rider here, however, all these funds must have an impact at the grassroots. We must feel the results because we are all here based on the grassroots. Establishment and entrenchment of state offices. The office of the leader of the official opposition. We support establishment and entrenchment of the office of the official opposition for enhanced political stability and oversight of government. The office of the cabinet secretary. We too support establishment and entrenchment of the office of the prime cabinet secretary. Ensure effective service delivery and governance. Before I go to conclusion, I am sure I've not done 10 minutes. I then want to pose a question. On Monday, we were 12 years after we lost Professor Wangari Maathai, our very icon. In 2007, 2008, some of us were in that journey. She called us in our Green Belt movement, and I say this with absolute humility. It is not part of this document. But if I don't say it, we will not be doing justice to Professor Wangari Maathai. All of us in international forums, we talk about her. So what I pose for you here, this committee, is that when Professor called us 2007, 2008, it was during the Kofi Annan negotiating team which was going on in Serena. And she was there herself, the late patron, our patron, Mama Jane Kiano, Professor Jiko Kabira, this can be checked from her, Rose Waruhio, Enda Gashukia, and myself. And what Professor suggested to us is that Kenya needed a prime minister to avoid a lot of things we see going into the future. I rest my case. I do not want to say